Hey guys, welcome. It's Sunday evening, July 31st, and let's look at some charts here. I hope you guys can hear me all right. I'm doing this from a patio. But I want to, at the end of the month, I really like to focus on the monthly time frame as we're closing out July. So it's important to kind of see where we get these monthly closing candles. Obviously, tomorrow, Monday, we'll have a brand new candle to look at, so we can do some longer term analysis based on where the monthlies closed out. So dollar yen is the first one I have up. You can see the long term trend still, this is still in play. All right, this wave structure is bullish. I keep talking about it really needs to hold this area to continue any kind of longer term bounce in the dollar versus the yen. And I'm not so sure you're going to get it. So this candle here is July, and to really change the momentum that dollar yen's been in all year, we're going to have to take out this monthly candle, which was June. That's at 110.61. And then, of course, where we held around 100 or par if you're a bond person. That's going to be key. So use June's low for dollar yen. Probably going to be some back and forth in here, but if we break this low, then this uptrend is over. All right, then I'm going to focus on these lows down here around 95, 93 and a half, and probably even a move back to the lows from 2012, 2011. If we look at the daily chart, this was just nasty on Friday. So we're definitely oversold, but look for maybe a small bounce and then another move down. It looks like the market wants to test par again, or really, I guess it was 99. It was the absolute intraday low. So I'm still kicking myself for taking actually all of my short off in front of Bank of Japan. So I want to get something back on. I'll probably put a small piece on the open, and then I'll add to it if we get any kind of bounce on the hourly. And I'll help you with that exactly. So you can see how we're extended lower. I really want to sell back in here around 103 and a half. That's where you want to sell. All right. You guys know I like to trade the pound versus the yen intraday. I day trade this one all the time. So here we have a monthly. We see how these higher lows broke in the wave structure. This is what I was talking about on dollar yen. If this same thing materializes on dollar yen, you're going to get that move lower, and that's what's happened here on the pound versus the yen. So nothing really to speak of from a monthly basis. I would say the monthly reversal is up here around 160. So this is still very bearish. And if we go to the daily level, it's more of the same. We're still short, and I want to add on the yen intermediate term rallies on the hourly. So on a monthly level for the pound, this is your lower highs here. One spot 59, call it, and the last high monthly closing was 1.4617, and then this is the intra-month high up here at 150, right where the market failed at Brexit, and that was also pi on the daily. So still very bearish. I can't go back far enough, but I think there's some lows in the 1980s. I'll have to figure out what price level that is. But you can see the monthly levels rolled back over on the cycle. So stay bearish the pound still. And the euro had a big move Friday, but still, if we're checking out the monthly level, look at this wave structure, just bearish, right? So the only thing that would maybe get the euro to bounce is you got to clear that 117 intraday monthly high, and the highest monthly close is 1.1449. So you're going to stay bearish unless we get above 116, 117. All right, and then on a daily level, the market's just making lower highs. I sold into this bounce on Friday, and we'll see if it plays out. If it moves back to 113, 114, that's going to pretty much suck. I'm going to have to probably take some risk off and try to put it back on higher. But we'll see how we open here tonight. I don't know what other currencies we want to look at. I think that's pretty much it for FX. On the monthly level on S&Ps, oh, this is a mess. Let me see if I can hide these. Alright, so you can see on the monthly level, we're closing above highs here at 2135, so this is bullish, guys. You don't want to be short S&Ps long term. That's just bullish. Alright, cycle's still positive. So I don't really want to lift them up here, but it's just, if you're going to be outright short, it's just trouble. This thing probably wants to squeeze higher, unfortunately. So I'm still have some puts that I'm nursing versus I have a long book, a lot of long names, so those puts are kind of a hedge against that. But I definitely gave a lot back here since Brexit. If you look at Dow futures, on the monthly level, same thing, guys. I mean, we're pretty much closing the month right at the highs, so we may need another month of follow through to kind of determine what's going to happen. But just be aware that we're sitting right at the previous highs. I mean, we closing right on it, so there's not as much confirmation there. I'm actually surprised S&Ps are through. Let's look at the cash real fast. Yeah, cash looks strong. Alright, is what it is. The Russell, you can see the Russell's not even close back to the highs from last year. It was the hardest to get hit at the beginning of the year, so it makes sense that it still has some catching up to do. It is through these prior lower highs around 1200. So I think you're supposed to think the Russell can retest these highs from last year. 1292. 1292 is intra-month high. The highest close is about that same area, 1247. All right, and then the Nasdaq. Jeez, U.S. market looks fine. I mean, I don't really want to lift them up here. I mean, I already said that. I don't know. Nasdaq hasn't closed above it, so I did short the Nasdaq into this resistance, and we can see the monthly level hasn't broken out yet. So we're gonna have to take this into July and see what happens, or I mean to August. So in August, you could still make an intraday move higher and close it, put it in a nice topping tail for the month. All right, and that would be bearish. So I'm not gonna say the Nasdaq is breaking out longer term yet at all, and we're leaning short right up against this resistance. Right in here. I'm short from probably 46.63 or so. Alright, guys, and then the dollar, if you just look at the dollar index, nothing's changed on the monthly level. 92 was the higher low that held perfectly. Nothing's changed there. I'm still thinking we can move back towards the highs from the end of last year, around 99 or 100. Let's look at the long bonds. So strong, guys. It's just higher lows, higher lows. Broke above the highs, closed above last month. So we're still in a major bull market here for treasuries, especially 10s and 30s and ultras. So you know my opinion there. We were buying all last week. We started realizing some profits, and I'm still long. You can see we're high within the cycle on the daily. So keep buying pullbacks this week in the long end. U.S. Treasuries. And you just want to check out the front end to see what the front end of the yield curve looks like. You can see it's a little bit different picture. So the front end and twos have a harder time going up because of the Fed's in the way, right? The Fed's, if they're going to try to raise rates at all, the 2-year yields are going to get hit the hardest. So yields are, higher yields in twos means lower price. So you can see the market just is actually making long-term lower highs in this downtrend. So I always like to sell a few twos or fives when 30 years get overbought. So if we get a move back towards the highs from a couple of weeks ago, we want to sell twos like 109.22, 109.25. I'll just do a few commodities. I'm going to touch more on softs and grains and a lot more ag this week, but I don't want to spend any more time on this video. So gold, it's the same thing as treasuries. If you look at the monthly, it's very strong. It's true for the gold miners. I mean, this was the lower highs here. We're starting to break above all those. So this high monthly close was 112.84. All right, we closed the last month above that. So gold's in a long-term bull market, no question about it. You can see we're a little bit overbought. So any kind of pullback, though, that'll be a gift. We want a pullback to buy more. So on the daily level, I mean, I was buying in here last week. I think we're going to get a move to higher highs above 1400. Very, very possible. So still like gold, still long there, position wise. And if we look at copper's still in a long-term downtrend. You should be able to see it on the monthly. See all these lower highs. The wave structure's down. The 30 days descending. So, jeez. The highest monthly close lately, this lower high, intraday high is 2032. This close is 2028. So that's where I was selling in front of that. Dollar's so strong. Global demand is so weak that you could see how this cycle's rolling over. I wouldn't be surprised if copper makes new lower lows into the end of the year even. So we're staying bearish copper. I'm small short. I like playing that off against my long gold also. So when precious metals are, gold and copper don't always trade together, but if oftentimes, if copper gets overbought, you can sell some. And then a lot of times when gold comes in, copper comes in also, and then you could get a chance to cover back whatever you sold short on copper futures. You can also do it on your whatever ETFs you like on copper. Silver's the same story. I won't touch on it. It's just bullish. It's doing the same thing on the monthly as gold. It's in a long-term new uptrend. And I can do some projections maybe later in the week from a time perspective. But we're at the beginning stages of new bull market in precious metals. What am I missing? Oil. Monthly chart of oil. This is a nice monthly sell setup. So here you go, guys. It's in a downtrend. You see the wave structure. You see the descending 30-month moving average. This is your pivot swing lower high. And then we're creating another pivot here at 51.50. 50 area, 51. So I call this the swing line. You guys hear me talk about when you're in a downtrend, you get a bounce. Just pay attention to these lows. So each candle's low. The low from this bottoming tail candle, this low wasn't taken out. Then the low of this candle wasn't taken out by this candle. And then the low of this month, June, wasn't taken out until last month. And so as soon as you crack that lower low, you can short oil here longer term, and I like putting a stop right above that candle. Or you can use, if you want to give it a little bit more room, you use this high. So long term, I like being short oil, stop above the highs, 50-51, and see if we get a move back to the lows for 26. All right. So I am short through a few puts. We sold 50-51. I mean, we pretty much sold the high. It was a great trade all month for us. And I want to sell some bounces on the intermediate term. I think that probably does it, guys. If you're new, check out my site, jenkinsrm.com. I'm gonna start to do some analysis for institutions. Right now, we have some analysis for independent traders. So whether you're a long-term investor, if you just have a 401k or an IRA, or if you're a portfolio manager or an investment advisor and you have some longer-term positioning, or you want some analysis for the longer term, I do that. That product's called Preferred Portfolio. It's priced stupid cheap, $50 a month. And I go over all my long and short ideas. We do analysis every month. It's all global macro, commodities, bonds, equities, Forex. So it's everything how I'm positioned longer term and what core positions I have and how I like hedging. And then I show you my long and short book in there as well. So that's a great value. That's for the investors. That's called Preferred Portfolio. And then my active traders, those are individuals that are day trading and swing trading. And I put in all my moves throughout the week, 24/7 pretty much. So if I'm buying or selling or shorting oil, or if I'm trading gold or the long bond, or even FX, whatever we're doing, I put in my active trader team. And that membership's $150 a month, and I do weekly analysis there. And then you have access to my private Slack room where all the updates, buy, sell. I help my team members manage the trades all the way through. That's on the site. So yeah, visit the website. And then guys, I'm also doing an options seminar coming up next Saturday for those that are interested in taking their options trading to a new level. And I'll have my marketing guys send out some details on that this week also. So I hope you guys had a good weekend. We'll talk to you in the morning. Have a good rest of your night.